Wigglytuff should be able to beat the entire game of Pokemon Red and Blue on Ultra Minimum Battles, a setting where we fight only the 8 gym leaders, the Elite Four, and the champion. That is it, 13 battles to beat the entire game. Now, why do we do this? Number 1, for the challenge. Number 2, because it's legitimately possible in Gen 1 to use all the glitches that exist in this game. Just go wherever the heck you want, and you could fight every gym leader in the game, even in reverse order, and actually beat the game that way. However, for this one, we're going to fight the 8 gym leaders in whatever order we want, and then make our way to the Elite Four and the champion, and see if on the absolute minimal amount of experience, if Wigglytuff can actually manage to get through. And there are a few reasons to have hope here. Even though we only rank 67th out of 151 Pokemon with a 350 base stat total, we have a massive 140 HP stat, and we have the fast level up group. When you put that together with the fact that we are a normal type Pokemon, and we get access to tons of super strong moves as we go through the game, it just makes sense that this Pokemon should have a chance. Now it might not perform as well as Clefable did a couple episodes back. Number 1, because it does not get access to minimized strats. It does have Sing, but instead starts with Defense Curl, Disable, and Double Slap as its other starting moves. And like all Stone evolutions, it does not learn any new moves via level up. However, with Sing and Defense Curl, we can, number 1, shore up our kind of weak defenses, which will give us a chance to use that massive HP stat, and the Defense Curl will be a badge boost glitch move later on in the run. So I think this one has chances. We're just going to have to see if it can actually get the job done on this hardcore setting. Let's get into it. So today, as Professor Oak meets us outside at Pallet Town, he's got an ultra tough challenge for us. He's going to give us this Wigglytuff to try to run the entire game with. So here we go. We'll get the balloon Pokemon. We're going to get it in the Squirtle Ball. That will put us up against the Venusaur, but this Pokemon would have super effective moves at the end against all of the starters. And at least Venusaur is going to have higher special, so it's not going to take as much damage from our blizzards, etc. when we get there. Still, let's just see how this actually works out. We are going to make the single strongest Wigglytuff that has ever existed in the history of the Pokemon franchise by slapping this one full of every single vitamin in the game. This is so that we give it the maximum chance of actually completing this challenge. And with all the vitamins used, it's time to meet Ultra Tough, our Wigglytuff that's coming in at level 5 with 32 HP, 15 in attack, and 13 in everything else. And of course, we've got that starting moveset of Sing, Disable, Defense Curl, and Double Slap. Disable and Double Slap are going to fall off really quick here, but I think we carry Sing and Defense Curl for the entire run because they're going to help us a lot with actually surviving against some of the toughest threats in the game. Now, the first thing that we got to do, of course, is fight against the rival who's got a level 100 Gengar that, no, we cannot defeat. We could put it to sleep, and we could set up a whole bunch of Defense Curls, etc. The problem here is just that we have no way to damage this Pokemon. Struggle is a normal type move, so you cannot take down that Gengar with a Wigglytuff in this generation. I mean, even if you could struggle there, you wouldn't have enough HP to actually take down that Pokemon, so we're gonna have to move on in this one. But as soon as we step out of Professor Oak's lab, of course, we go to Sabrina's gym, where we find all 8 Kanto gym leaders have been placed in the cells throughout here, and we're gonna have to beat all of them to progress in the game. If we try to leave, we just go straight to the league. There's no getting back to the overworld in this one. This is the ultimate Pokemon escape room challenge. Now, we do have a few advantages. We're coming in with 4 elixirs, 4 full restores, and 12 rare candies in the bag, and the statue is now a PC, which we can simply use to access pretty much any TM in the game. I'm going to take out some that I think are really obvious. Body Slam makes a lot of sense on this Pokemon. We also get Mega Kick and Mega Punch if we ever want them, and we can pretty much learn those moves and forget them and just do whatever we want since they're available at the Celadon department store. They're technically infinite. Water Gun, Ice Beam, and Blizzard are all legally available moves. Double Edge might not be as bad as usual because we have the massive HP stat, so recoil might actually not affect us that much. We can also get a bunch of Hyper Beam TMs as a way to use a strong same type move. We do have a higher attack stat. TMs like Submission, Counter, and Seismic Toss are available. We can also get Solar Beam, Thunder, and Psychic. We cannot get any of the TMs that are given by gym leaders, of course, though, so we don't have that as an option. Double teams also not provided here so that we don't have to go for the evasion strats in every single run. I will grab out things like Reflect and Mimic just in case they become required at some point. And I think Rest, Thunder Wave, and Tri Attack are also pretty decent moves to have just in case we need them. Still, for now, we're going to go into the Brock fight. People have suggested that I should throw on Ice Beam at the beginning rather than Water Gun, and there is a strong argument for that. Now, the reason that I don't do that is because I don't pre-route these, so I don't actually know where I'm going to be good with those moves and where I'm not, and if I'm going to have to forget them or not. These are first blind runs, so I'm going to go with a different strategy here against Brocky Boy. I am going to try to beat him with counter strats. My logic here is pretty simple. We have really high HP and we have very low speed. So those two together mean that we might just be able to use counter in order to just knock out our opponents, and we'd probably be getting hit first by things like Onyx anyway, and the return damage might be enough to actually take his team down. Let's get into this and see. So Brocky Boy attempt number 1, I'm going to lead off with the counter here. He goes Defense Curl, but that really shouldn't matter. It should just be a question of when he tackles me. When he does, we do significant damage back and easily knock out the Geodude, getting to level 7. We'll just stick with counter on the Onyx. It looks like this is going to take 3 hits from counter in order for us to win. And now he's going Bite over and over again. We need him to actually use Tackle to give us a chance. And unfortunately, he just goes Bite over and over again. But there is another trick. If he's using Bite, you can put him to sleep. And at least Brock will go for the full heal there. We can then just keep putting him asleep until he runs out of his 5 full heals for this Pokemon. And now we can at least just double slap and deal 1 damage per turn while he's asleep. And the Onyx doesn't count double slap damage while he's asleep. Unfortunately, he wakes up and knocks me out there finally with a tackle. But eventually we should be able to get this one to go. Round 2, we do once again get through the Geodude. We counter against the Onyx with a critical hit one time, and then we knock it out when it hits another tackle with 1 HP remaining. So counter strats do work there. It's not perfectly consistent. It took 11 minutes, 14 seconds with me kind of setting things up here, giving live explanation. We'll knock off that optional battle because that was just the Rival 1 fight, which is not actually part of our score. And I took a couple of resets there at the start of the game setting things up. We had only 1 actual reset on Brock, so the correct score is 98.9, getting us through Brocky Boy. Now with that done though, we have to decide how to route in the rest of the game. And the thing is that Misty doesn't have any super effective moves against us, so she's just gonna randomize between her moves. We might be able to just go for Thunder strats here or Solar Beam strats and eventually get through this fight. On the other hand, just going for a move like Body Slam that is same type might be stronger. So let's test that out and see. I'm going to replace Double Slap with Body Slam. And just in case, I'm going to replace the move Counter, which I don't think will do that much for us now, with the move Hyper Beam, just to see if we can manage to get through Misty with this setup or not. Let's get into it and find out. So here against Misty, let's just see what happens if we put the Staryu to sleep and then start using Body Slam here. We see that we did pretty decent damage, about 12 damage there. That would make that a 4-hit KO. But let's just do 2 Body Slams into a Hyper Beam. Of course, she X-defended at the exact right time, so we didn't knock that one out. Still, we get to Starmie. She X-defends turn 1. We can put her to sleep and now go for the Body Slam here. She wakes up immediately and goes Tackle, but we put her back to sleep, and we can see that Body Slam's not doing a lot, but it is getting some damage. We get a nice crit there as well. Let's see if Hyper Beam gets it or not. We missed the first Hyper Beam. We hit the second one, not quite enough damage, but then we Hyper Beam her down as she wakes up. So we beat Misty on the first attempt. 13 minutes, 33 seconds, a score of 96.9, 3 TMs learned, 1 reset. That's it. We're ready to move on in this one. And next up, we've got Lieutenant Surge. We don't have any super effective moves for him, but he doesn't have great defenses with his Pokemon. So as long as we put them to sleep, we should be able to just Body Slam, Hyper Beam things down. Let's see how this actually works out though. So Surgy Boy, attempt number 1 right here. I'm going to sing on the Voltorb. It hits me with the Sonic Boom, which isn't great. I'm going to set up Defense Curl because it's going to give me badge boosts in attack. He screeches here, but we're not going to take a lot of physical moves after this. Let's see what Body Slam does. Over half with the badge boosts at least. That brings us to the Pikachu. I'm going to try to Hyper Beam this Pokemon after he Thunder Shocks. We do get the one-hitter. That gets us to level 15. As the Raichu comes out, it goes Thunder Shock. I hit Sing. Let's Body Slam first. We can see it looks like a 3 or 4 hit KO, but he goes X speed, so Hyper Beam ends it. Oh, Lieutenant Surge, the trash man. He just punts on that fight. It's been 14 minutes 42 seconds with this one, but that was a super easy Surge fight in the end. No additional resets, no additional TMs. We're perfectly fine as we are to get through that, and we're moving on in the game. That is nuts. Now, the problem that we have here is that we're slow. We are not going to be faster than any of Koga's team. We're not going to be faster than any of Erica's team. So we have to try to get through one of these two fights in spite of the fact that we are not going to have enough speed. I think I'm going to go to Erica, and the idea here is pretty simple. I think that with an ice type move, I can manage to take her down, and I also think that we could cheese for a freeze or something here to try to get it to work. I am going to forget the move Hyper Beam in order to learn the move Ice Beam here. I'm saving Blizzard for the end game because I think with our lower special attack, we'll need that when we actually get to Lance and get to the champion. And I wouldn't want to have to forget Blizzard later on, which at least when we get to Lorelei, I don't think we can keep Blizzard on the moveset. So this is my logic. I'm going to forget the Hyper Beam. I'm going to keep Body Slam on for now. Since we are slow, maybe we'll need to paralyze something, I don't know. But Hyper Beam's relearnable. We have infinite Hyper Beam TMs effectively, so I think this is the way to go. Let's just see if this can work out or not. So Erica, attempt number 1 right here. I'm going to sing on the Victory Bell. It misses Sleep Powder. I miss Sing. Now it hits Sleep Powder, and now we're getting Wrap, and we can see we're taking massive damage. I think that was a critical hit Wrap, but even still, that is just way too much damage for us to survive. We're going to need better luck than that. The good news is she's just randomizing. She could go Poison Powder here. In fact, she does the next attempt. Then she goes a normal Wrap, not a crit. So we do actually survive better, but then the Razor Leaf crits and knocks me out. Nothing I can do about that. Let's try this one again. We just need a run where we actually hit Sing turn 1 and she doesn't put us to sleep or knock us out, which I think we have chances of. We're just going to take a lot of resets here. This time we get Poison Powder, but we actually get Victory Bell to sleep. Let's see what Ice Beam does. Oh, pitifully little. This looks like it might be a 6-hit KO with the Ice Beam here. We get the freeze after that on this Pokemon though. So I'm going to set up a couple of defense curls, even though I'm poisoned, because I want more badge boosts in attack later on in the fight. Here now we can Body Slam and finish that one off. That will bring us to the Tangela. The problem, of course, is that we leveled up right here. We freeze the Tangela though, so we are going to get the 4-hit KO here. And that does bring us to the final Vileplume. It outspeeds and goes Petal Dance and I lose. We're going to have to try this one again. Now there could be an argument for going rest here in order to survive because we are on low health after we get through that first Pokemon, but we did make it back to Tangela. We get a nice critical hit followed by another crit. She super potions and we do survive to get to the final Vileplume. The question is, what does it go for? If it misses a Poison Powder or Sleep Powder, we could survive here. Instead it goes Mega Drain and we lose. But definitely going for the defense curls was not the way to go in that previous run. So I am going to try this again, trying to get poisoned and then just put this first Victory Bell to sleep. We can see Body Slam and Ice Beam are doing pretty similar amounts of damage. So here I'm just going to Body Slam that Pokemon down. Against Tangela, I'll go back to Ice Beam. It gets me into Bind, unfortunately. Not much I can do about that. Constrict is much better. We get a Bind miss, but then we get hit by Bind again. So we're probably going to have to put that second Pokemon to sleep as well. Honestly, we probably need a turn 1 miss from the Victory Bell in order to get through. All of its moves have a chance to miss between 25% and 5%. So it's not like this is impossible to get a miss turn 1. It's just going to be a lot of resets. Still, I don't think we would get through Koga at this point, so I think this is how we would have to go. And when we get Victory Bell to sleep, I'm just gonna body slam it down from there. She can go Super Potion, but that's fine. We still knock that one out. Back to Tangela, where I am going to sing because I really don't want it to sit here and use Bind on me when I'm poisoned. Tangela does have really high defense, which is why I think Ice Beam is required there. Now to the Vileplume, it goes Mega Drain and ends me. So pretty clearly, we just don't have enough HP for that. So in that case, I do think we have to try our hand at Koga. I'm not sure we're actually going to be able to get through, but maybe if we can freeze the first coughing while he's trying to set up something like X attack or gets a miss with Smog or something, maybe then we could set up all our defense girls and find a way through this. Let's just see. So Koga attempt number 1, let's just see if we can put this first coughing to sleep. We do. Now I'm going to set up defense curl like crazy because I think we need all the defenses here. This is also giving us some badge boosts in our attack stat. So now we can go for Ice Beam or for Body Slam. Ice Beam does basically nothing here. Body Slam crits, which is not what I wanted to see, but we do knock that Pokemon out. We get to level 17 on the Muck here. We're once again going to put it to sleep. I don't want it to spam Minimize and basically become impossible to hit, but man, we need something like Psychic here to have a shot. Here we got poisoned, and at this point I think we just get wrecked. So this was kind of my point about Blizzard. I don't know when I'm going to have to forget a move. So this is a spot where I'm going to learn the move Psychic because I think it's the only good move I can learn here to have a better chance of knocking out these coughings. I'm going to learn it over Ice Beam. We still have Blizzard for later on in the run. That's my logic. Let's see how this goes. Now, we take one Smog, but we are able to put the coughing to sleep at least. We are slower here, though, so we're going to need a lot of luck to actually get through this one. I think it all comes down to a really long sleep on the first coughing while we set up all the defense girls. Now let's see what Psychic does here as a super effective move. A lot more damage. We get a critical hit tackle after that from the coughing, though, and it simply knocks me out from there. So again, it's going to take a lot of luck to get through this one. So we're going to try to time out when the coughing wakes up to put it back to sleep. Unfortunately, we missed, and we're on too low health to actually get through there, so we're going to have to reset again. I also think a smokescreen basically ends this one because we're not going to deal enough damage at that point. Now, we might be better off going for fewer setups here on the first Pokemon and then just trying to knock it out. We get a nice special drop there, so we do get through the coughing at least. And now we might be better off setting up on the Muck. This is because it has more moves that are not damage dealing moves. So if we can set up a few of our defense curls here, sure, he can go Minimize, but at least now we can hopefully deal some damage. He just goes super hard on the Minimize and then goes for the Poison. And unfortunately, we're getting wrecked by that Pokemon when we can't actually hit it with anything. We're going to have to try this one again. I also think getting poisoned is an auto reset. You could argue for rest, but honestly, I don't think it would actually be that much better here. So this time Muck uses Minimize once, but I am able to put it back to sleep and keep setting up with Defense Curl here. We're just trying to get to +6 defense. And then with all the badge boosts here, I'm going to try to body slam this Pokemon. We're just missing all of the body slams as he goes for Minimize. He finally goes for Sludge and he poisons me, and I couldn't hit the last hit to knock that one out. So I think we need a run where we get through the coughing on full health and with no accuracy drops in order to actually have a chance here. It's not impossible because he can miss and he can go for X attack turn 1. Here he misses 2 smoke screens in a row, and now we're just hoping this Pokemon stays asleep as we whittle it down. Sure enough, it does. So we're to the Muck on full health. It hits Sludge immediately though and takes me to low health right here. And now the defense girls are more about badge boosts than anything else. Here, Body Slam will do decent damage as he's X attacking. We managed to paralyze the Muck, which is not actually what I wanted, and unfortunately we go down. This time we get a Poison Gas miss from the Muck. So once again, I'm going all in on the defense curls here. I'm hoping that it stays asleep. It wakes up there. He goes X attack, allowing me to put him back to sleep and finish my setup. And now we're body slamming because we have badge boosts and attack here. So this is about as strong as we're gonna get against this one. We just hope that he stays asleep. He hits a sludge there and poisons me, but we are to the second coughing. It goes smoke screen. I miss Sing. We get sludge and smoke screen again. This is not what we want to see. Still, I can only go psychic at this point and just pray that we actually win. We did not get it that time. The accuracy drops are a major problem in this one because we don't have that much PP to knock these Pokemon out, and we can't survive a ton of hits, so we have to be able to land Sing here. We would love to have the badge boost in speed from Koga so that we could actually like outspeed after setting up all of the defense curl. Unfortunately, not an option until we actually win this fight. Here we paralyze the Muck. We get poison gas, but that's not necessarily the end of the world. We just need good luck on this next coughing. We finally get it to sleep with a Sing with about 65 HP remaining. I'm going for some psychics to knock that one out. We have 2 psychics remaining as we get to level 20 on the final Wheezing. It goes Smog. I hit Sing. Let's just see if we can get this or not. Psychic does that much, so we're going on lower health, and finally Sludge just ends me. That was our first chance at the Wheezing though, so it is possible to get there. It's just not going to be pretty. And yeah, after a lot of resets there on Koga, he just does not seem to work. So the question is, can we go anywhere else and actually have a chance of progressing? Keep in mind, our speed is only 30 right now, so we're slower than anything that we happen to go up against. And our defense and attack aren't that great. It's not like we're going to do a ton of damage, and our special's only 32. So it's not like other Pokemon are going to take massive damage from any of our other attacking moves. That's why I think we're kind of in a tough spot here. Do we have to drop early rare candies with this Pokemon? I'm going back to Erica just to test this out, that maybe with some special drops, Psychic can do enough damage. It still generally looks like a 6-hit KO on the first Victory Bell. We could try Giovanni just for the sake of maybe getting him to do something bad, but I honestly don't think this is gonna work. I'm gonna test it anyway just to see. So Giovanni attempt number 1. Let's try to put the Rhyhorn to sleep. It misses Horn Drill, but then it hits Horn Drill because it's actually faster than us here. So we actually cannot avoid that move. Stomp also does massive damage here, and there's not much we can do. Like, we could use Psychic here and get a special drop, but we see how little damage we're doing to the Rhyhorn there. Yes, we could learn other moves, but I honestly don't think that that's a very good option, at least. I think we have to drop a few rare candies right here in an effort to outspeed something, and we're gonna have to drop about 4 of them to outspeed against one of the coughings here on the team for Koga. That's the best I can think of. It's kind of sad to use early rare candies, but we are in the fast level up group, so we may be able to get those levels back later. Let's just see. So back to Koga, the big difference is that at level 20, we are faster than the coughing. That will allow us to put it to sleep in theory before it can attack me. And that makes setting up here a little bit easier because we can time out when it wakes up and try to put it back to sleep. We also have more HP, defense, attack, etc. So in theory, this should be easier to get through this Pokemon. Then we can go to the Muck already set up and hopefully survive more hits. I'm going to go Body Slam here since we've set up all of the attack badge boosts. We do not level up before Muck. He goes X attack. We put it to sleep. I'm going to stick with Body Slam here since we've got badge boost glitch working in our favor. He goes Minimize, but we should be able to knock this one out with 1 or 2 more Body Slams. Sure enough, we do. We get to level 22 for the second coughing. Now we can put this Pokemon to sleep. I'll go Psychic here since we are no longer getting badge boosts and attack. It wakes up, it goes Sludge, but Sludge doesn't do that much because we've set up all the defense girls. We can just put it back to sleep, and it looks like a 3-hit KO with Psychic. Now we're to the Wheezing. It goes self-destruct, and we lose because it got a critical hit. I don't know if a non-crit would have allowed us to survive, but that's at least closer to actually getting this to go. Speed is the real problem of Wigglytuff, though. We can see that pretty clearly on display at this point, and I'm using a lot of speed up here to move faster through these fights since they're so random. So definitely don't look at the time, look at the score to see just how bad this one is going. Still, at least here with not leveling up before Muck, we can know that we can go Body Slam on the first 2 Pokemon and keep our attack badge boosts, which is a pretty big advantage here. We're still going to need luck to get that Muck to sleep since it is still faster than us though. This time he X attacks on Muck, so we can put it to sleep. He X attacks again, and it looks like a 5-hit KO, maybe even a 4-hit KO with Body Slam. We get it, so we're to the second coughing on full health. We put it to sleep this time. It wakes up immediately and hits Smog, poisoning me, but I'll put it back to sleep just to avoid as much damage as I can. And now Psychic should be a 3 or 4 hit KO. Let's just see if we get the range or not. We don't get the range, so it's a 4-hitter. We knock it out with Body Slam, though. We're back to Wheezing. It misses Smog. We put it to sleep. We're going Psychic the rest of the way here. We see it doesn't do a lot, but we get a special drop. He wakes up. Now he goes Smog again. We can put him back to sleep, back to Psychic. And these special drops should mean 2 more Psychics ends it, and he stays asleep. So finally, it's been 41 minutes. We managed to get through Koga. Our score's down to 89. We ended up taking 60 resets in that section with me trying to get through and the 5 TMs. Remember, these are first attempts. I'm going in blind here. I'm just trying to make the best decision I can at every point, but I gotta test whether or not it's possible before I drop rare candies or go for an OPTM. I want to avoid OPTMs as long as possible for this Pokemon to avoid getting the 10-point deduction for things like Rest, Mimic, Substitute, Bide, etc. Just because they're generic strats and I don't want to use them if I don't have to. And I go for a lot of resets before dropping the rare candies because I really want to see if I can get through as I am. Turns out, no, you can't. You're going to have to go rare candies there to make that one reasonable. It's not pretty even then, but ultimately we do get the job done. It just took like over 25 minutes since the Lieutenant Surge in real time to do that. And like I said, on a lot of these, I'm using speed up. I'm playing the game at 10 times speed at points just to see if I'm resetting for luck, if I can get the luck or not. That is really not pretty. Still at level 20, you can get the job done, so we're ready to move on. We're still slightly slower than Erica's first Victory Bell, but at this level, I think we can probably get it to go. I'm gonna just stick with Psychic here since it's super effective on the Victory Bell and on the Vileplume, but we should outspeed against Tangela and Vileplume, which was the big issue last time. We were just slower than those 2 Pokemon. So we were getting poisoned by, say, the first Victory Bell and then getting bind from the Tangela and then not getting a chance on the final Vileplume. This is going to be a lot better at this point. Let's see how it goes. So back to Erica, round 2. I'm going to try to put the first Victory Bell to sleep. It misses Sleep Powder. We get the sleep on it. And here I'm going to just go for Psychic. We get a special drop there. It goes for Wrap after it wakes up. And then it Razor Leafs. We can survive the Razor Leaf just fine now though. So we'll go back to Psychic after it wakes up, getting a 3-hitter. Now Tangela is slower than us, so we can go Sing. We miss, it hits Bind, but now we get it to sleep. I'm going to put it back to sleep again when it wakes up, and here I'm going to set up the Defense Girls. Number 1, because it's using physical moves, but number 2, because I want to be able to get badge boosts in attack here, so that I can hopefully knock this one out with my Body Slams and save my Psychics for the final Vileplume. Here, Body Slam does over half after the badge boost setup, so we knock that one out nice and easy. Vileplume's out next. It's slower. We miss the Sing. It goes Poison Powder. Let's see if it stays asleep. It does not. It immediately wakes up, and we get Mega Drained down. Nothing we could do there. We weren't going to one-shot, so we got to try this one again. Still, we can at least see we're surviving better against the first Victory Bell, as long as it doesn't put me to sleep, of course. So we're just gonna have to try for the luck to either get Poison Powder or Razor Leaf or Miss here in order to get through. This time we get Poison Powder, which is perfectly fine. Once Victory Bell's asleep, we just gotta keep it asleep. We get the special drops to knock it out in 3 hits. Back to the Tangela, and I'm just trying to put this one to sleep because we're poisoned. I don't want to get all those binds, and I want to hit it with the Body Slams here and just hopefully whittle it down. We do manage to knock that one out. We've made it back to Vileplume. Bloom. We get it to sleep, and it stays asleep this time, so we can go Psychic. It looks like a 4-hit KO. We get a crit, though. She super potions, and now on low health, we finally get that to go, but we're down to 3 HP remaining. Wait just a second. 44 minutes, 9 seconds to get through with a score of 88.8. The problem is, do I survive to get back to the healing point with 8 HP? I hope I do. Yeah, we should be able to get this to go. Sure enough, we do. So there we go. We are through that fight. We are able to move on in the game. Here, I'm going to try my hand at Giovanni with this setup now because we are at least faster than the first Rhyhorn. So we can't be hit by the Horn Drill anymore. And maybe with the Defense Curl setup, we can actually get this one to go. I'm also doing this because Psychic is still super effective here against the Nidos, but it might be better to go Bubble Beam since Bubble Beam would be good here and good against Blaine. I'm honestly not sure. I'm going to test it and see if I can get through as I am first. So Giovanni, round 2. Let's see if we can put the Rhyhorn to sleep. We do not. It stomps. Oh, we take massive damage. And we're just missing all of the things here. So I think we're losing the first attempt. The whole point here is that we want to be able to set up all the defense curls on this Pokemon so that the later Pokemon do very little damage with their physical moves, since everything on Giovanni's team is using physical attacks against us. He wakes up and goes for a Tail Whip, so we're going to have to set up again here. Now we can go Psychic, just hoping to whittle this Pokemon down. I think we go Body Slam on the Doug Trio and on the Nidos, assuming we can put them to sleep. So we get through that. We are to Doug Trio, and we are even faster here. Let's see what Body Slam does. It gets the one-hitter as we get to level 27 on Nidoqueen. She goes Scratch, but really doesn't do much damage. Let's see if we can Body Slam this Pokemon down. It looks like it's going to take a lot of hits, but maybe we can get a crit or something to get us through as she just Poison Stings after she wakes up. We get to level 28 on Nidoking. It misses Tackle. Now it hits Horn Attack, but we put it to sleep. We've got 7 Body Slams here, and it does look like we'll get the range. He gets paralyzed when he wakes up, so we get through to get to level 29 on the Rhydon. The only move that can damage us here is the Stomp. So I'm just going to put this one to sleep and now go Psychic, hoping to deal damage. We get a special drop turn 1, another special drop turn 3, and now does Psychic end it? It does not. We get stomped, but we survive and we Body Slam it down. Oh, Wigglytuff. Oh, the ultra tough Wigglytuff here. Body slamming down a Rhydon. Oh, yes. 46 minutes, 53 seconds to get that to go with still a score of 88.8. Perfect 8s there. I like that. Hey, we're ready to move on in this one. Let's go try our hand at Sabrina and Blaney Boy. But yeah, the self-proclaimed greatest trainer alive, he lost to our Wigglytuff on the first attempt. I think that's beautiful. Let's try Blaney Boy. Let's just see if we can get through him. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but he's going to be just as random as Sabrina. The only argument for Sabrina is that she has lower defense on her Pokemon, but we're going to be outsped by everything no matter what. So let's just see if we can get through or not. So Blaney Boy attempt number 1, he goes Agility with the Growlithe. That's just fine. I'm just going to put him to sleep. I'm going to set up a couple of defense curls here just for badge boosts and for the sake of being more survivable. Then we'll just Body Slam this Pokemon. We get a 2-hit KO there. Ponyta's out next. We did not level up, but it stomps and didn't do that much damage. We'll just Body Slam here as well to get a nice 2-hitter. That brings us to Rapidash, where we level up. It goes Fire Spin, not dealing a lot of damage, but we are going to have to put this one to sleep. It finally releases us and then stomps, but that's fine. I'm going to set up a bunch of defense curls here. It goes Growl, which is not what we wanted to see. Still, we can at least finish our setup, and we do outspeed here now. He goes for the Super Potion. We're Body Slamming. We need one more hit to knock this one out, but we do get it. So we're to the Arcanine. We level up right here to level 32. It goes Ember. We put it to sleep. Here with our attack stat dropped, we might be better off going for Psychic. We get a special drop turn 1. We're hoping for special drops as we use this move. We get another special drop. He Super Potions. Now he goes Ember. It gets a crit though. A non-crit Ember wouldn't have knocked us out because of the special drops on that Pokemon. I think we have a chance here. Of course, we don't really like getting hit by takedown from the first Pokemon, but here I'm just going to set up one defense curl just for a little extra defense, and I'm going to save the rest for when I get to the Rapidash. basically just hoping to get as many badge boosts as possible there. Here he misses a tail whip. He misses tail whip again. That's perfectly fine. Now when he's asleep, I'm just going to set up all of the defense girls, and maybe he can give me a tail whip when he wakes up. He does. Now we're faster. We just missed, and he gets me in the fire spin. But once he's back to sleep, we haven't taken growl this time. Unfortunately, as soon as I say that, he wakes up and growls at me, but still we should be able to outspeed now against the Rapidash, and that may help us take this one down at least. Once it goes down, we're back to Arcanine. Let's see if we can get this to go. He super potions turn 1, which is nice. I'm going back to Psychic for special drops. He goes takedown, which did next to nothing because of our defense buffs. We get one special drop, and we're just trying to get another one. There we go. Yes, one more hit. The Fire Blast crits and ends me. No, I think we survive a non-crit Fire Blast there because he's already on half special. Oh, that's brutal. Let's try this again. We keep getting to the Arcanine and having chances, and then Blaney Boy just completely destroys those chances like a tombstoner. Still, I think this is the correct play to go one defense buff on the early Pokemon. Ponyta uses Tail Whip, so we'll even use another defense buff right there, getting us back to the Rapidash as we level up. It stomps, but we're just gonna sing here and then defense curl up on this Pokemon. In fact, maybe we save the defense curls for the Arcanine and try to get through this one with no growls. We're like 3-hit KOing here. So sure enough, we do get through. We've gotten to Arcanine. It goes takedown, dealing significant damage. It misses Fire Blast. It hits takedown again. We finally get it to sleep. Now I'm going to start badge boosting, hoping to eventually outspeed against the Arcanine. We're just a little too slow, and he crits again. If we could have outsped there, though, we could have won. So I'm going to go for this again, with the logic being to not even set up on the first two Pokemon, just to body slam them down. We've got to get a little bit of luck on that Ponyta, it looks like, but let's try this again. So here we'll just 2-hit KO on the first Growlithe and then try to put the Ponyta to sleep. We're on lower health, unfortunately, because of the fact that it did stomp me twice. And then we really want to put this Rapidash to sleep. It growls, which is not great. We get a nice crit, but then he uses super potions. We still get through that one, though. We're back to Arcanine, and the whole point here is that I want to outspeed the Arcanine. Unfortunately, we couldn't survive enough hits to actually get that time, but I do think we have the ability to get this to go. I think it all depends on the ranges on Ponyta and Rapidash and getting the sleep on the Arcanine, but this is going to be possible at the end of the day. Back to Arcanine at about half health this time. He roars turn 1, which is way better. We can put him back to sleep when he wakes up and just try to finish our setup here. And this time we are faster than Arcanine now. Plus we've got all the badge boosts and attack. Let's go body slam. It looks like a 4-hitter. We get a nice crit and we take him down. So there we go. Once we manage to set up badge boosts on the Arcanine, you can get through with the Wigglytuff. It took 53 minutes, 39 seconds, 5 resets there, but still really not too bad to get through. A score of 88.3 now. And now we've just got Sabrina left. So we're still slow. We're still outsped by literally everything, but we have at least chances to get to the league here. And maybe just having the super high HP turns out to be enough on Lorelei. We're just going to have to see. For now, though, I'm just going to try to body slam down Sabrina. I'm going to keep Psychic on the moveset for now, because if I can find a way to have that move as I beat Sabrina and beat Lorelei, I might just be able to use that to destroy Bruno and Agatha. So it kind of sucks that there's only one Psychic type move for this Pokemon in this generation, but I do think that it's probably our best way to go to try to proceed in this one. Obviously, Psywave is Psychic too, but nobody wants Psywave. Let's see if this can actually work out. So here against Sabrina, my strategy is pretty simple. I'm just going to try to destroy the Kadabra as quickly as possible. We get it down with a body slam. Now I'm actually going to avoid setting up Defense Curl just yet. I'm going to put Mr. Mime to sleep since he's a little more bulky and then knock him out with that. Out comes Venomoth. It poisons me and now goes for the Psybeam and Leech Life there. But we can go Psychic here and get a 2-hit KO. We're just on too low health going to the Alakazam. I think we have to body body slam there. We got knocked out by the Psywave. Let's try this again. So once again, we're going to body slam against the first Kadabra. I'm just going to body slam twice on Mr. Mime and take him down. I'm going to go all in on attack here. Let's just go for the Psychic on the Venomoth. We get a Gen 1 miss. Are you kidding me? We got the special drop, but even then we did not get the 2-hit KO. We do get back to Alakazam though. If it does something non-damaging, we might be able to win. It just used Psybeam and we lost. Still, I think this is more than possible, so we just need to get a little more luck to get this one to go. We get Barrier from the Mr. Mime this time, which isn't great, but back to Venomoth. We can hit Psychic, we get the special drop, we get confused by the Psybeam after that though, and we lose. Come on. This time Defense Curl gets disabled by the first Kadabra. Still, we don't really mind anything from the Mr. Mime, so we can just take it down nice and easy. We get paralyzed this time by Venomoth. I'm going to put it to sleep and now go for Psychic. It's going to be a 3-hitter, but that's perfectly fine by me. We're to the Alakazam on decent health this time. It goes Recover turn 1, Reflect turn 2, Reflect turn 3. Now Psywave does basically nothing, but here I'm going to set up all the defense curls for as many badge boosts as possible. Unfortunately, Alakazam does wake up and start hitting, and I lose. But if we can set up badge boost there, we may be able to deal enough damage to get the victory. And against the Venomoth, it looks like Body Slam and Psychic basically do the same. We paralyze it this time, so we get to the final Alakazam on even better health. I Body Slam and paralyze it, and then I knock it out the next turn. So yeah, when we actually get to Alakazam on decent health, we can just Body Slam there. The reason I couldn't do that previously was because it reflected and I was paralyzed. It just wasn't working out. But in the end, you can get that one to go. 57 minutes, 38 seconds, a score of 87.9 as we head to Lorelei. If I had to comment on anything right here, it would just be that not having speed is really bad in this setting. Clefable had like just enough speed to actually be good, whereas this Wigglytuff and its low speed is just completely destroying me as I go through this challenge. And that's what makes me most nervous for the league, is just that we're not going to have enough speed to actually get through things, at least not without dropping the rest of our rare candies, and it might just not work out. We'll just have to see. For now though, we are ready to move on to the league. Wigglytuff has defeated the 8 gyms. So here, as we get ready to go into the league, I'm just going to take out any other TMs that I think might be useful. There are some that I know are completely useless to us, obviously, but we might want to make sure that we get Fire Blast, since that could be a strategy. Solar Beam is also available to us, but I'm going to make sure that Fire Blast is in my set here. We shouldn't need Water Gun. I'm just going to throw that TM away. We've got Double Edge, we've got Mega Kick, we've got Hyper Beam. I'm not sure we'll ever need the Submission. Seismic Toss could be useful in certain situations, so I will keep it, but really I think Substitute, Rest, etc. should be taken out just in case we hit a wall. There could be spots where we need those moves. Tri Attack also could be an option, but remember that Tri Attack doesn't get status in this generation. That is something that was added in Gen 2. So Tri Attack for like freeze strats or something is not something that we can go for here. There aren't really that many other TMs left, I think, that we could use effectively. So I think we just have to go into the league with what we've got and see if we can get this to work. So I'm going to go into the Lorelei fight once as I am, and I'm just going to see if with sleep plus some badge boost I can manage to get through. We might need to drop a rare candy to manipulate where we actually gain a level. Additionally, we might throw on something like Thunderbolt instead of having Body Slam here, but I'm going to see if I can get this to go. Let's just find out. So here against Lorelei, the first Dugong has 89 speed, so we're never outspeeding this Pokemon. It goes Takedown turn 1. We can put it to sleep though. Let's see what Body Slam does here. We're doing pretty decent damage, at least with crits, so we may be able to take this one down. She rests. But if she doesn't rest enough times, we should eventually be able to get this to go. She just also goes for the Aurora Beam and lowers my attack, so I think we have to reset on that one. Let's see if we can get a better range here. This time we get her to sleep, but then she goes rest immediately after that. We know when she'll wake up, so we can try to put her back to sleep that turn. We just didn't get the luck to get the Sing to hit, so let's try yet again. It looks like this is a 6-hitter with a crit. We do manage to at least just get through Dugong this time, though. We get to Cloyster, which is still faster. It goes Supersonic, now Spike Cannon. But here I'm going to sing, and I'm going to try to use Psychic to knock this Pokemon out. Of course, we don't like that she can just simply take me down pretty easily from there. I don't know. The 8 rare candies might be required here just to get enough speed to get through this fight. I think we start dropping them. I'm going to go up to level 40 here first. That will leave me 2 rare candies in the bag. We're still only at 77 speed though, so we're basically never going to outspeed in this fight. The one benefit that we get is that now when we put the first Dugong to sleep, we can start setting up with the defense girls to try to outspeed from there. And I don't think we'll level up on the first or second Pokemon. Let's try this. So here we get Growl from the Dugong. Now it tries to rest and it growls again. That's kind of bad because of the fact that, of course, we're going to now have lower attack. We've got a badge boost just to get our attack stat back to about where it was when we came in. Here we are now faster though, so we can put this Pokemon to sleep. I'm going to Body Slam again here, and we do manage to take the first Pokemon out. We're still faster than the Cloyster when it comes out. Spike Cannon does basically nothing because of all of our badge boosts. Now we can get a special drop and 2-shot that Pokemon. We level up right here on Slowbro. Now the problem is that we have very low attack because of that first Dugong. We might have to get through that one without growls or any other attack drops. The Slowbro's really not going to do much damage. It only knows Water Gun here, but if we can't actually manage to deal any meaningful damage, we're kind of getting wrecked. Still, we do take that one down. We're to the Jinx, but just with very little attacking PP left. We have 1 Body Slam to use, and now we basically have to go Psychic, which it's going to resist. So yeah, not looking great, but I think it's just because of the attack drops earlier in the fight. I'm going to take the reset there. Let's try this one again. And here the entire game plan is just to set up enough that we can outspeed the Dugong. Now I'm just going to go for the Body Slams here. We get a nice crit that time and a decent hit there, so we do manage to get through. We're back to the Cloyster, still faster. I'm going to put this one to sleep, and now I'm going to go Psychic here. It's not doing as much damage because I didn't set up all of the badge boosts on the first Pokemon, but we are getting through here from the looks of it. We can just Body Slam it down from there. That brings us to the Slowbro, but he is slower, so we can put this one to sleep. And now we're going to set up the remaining 4 badge boosts on this Pokemon, and we just don't want to get Growl. Still, we can Body Slam here. We're doing much better damage. We get the Paralysis. She Super Potions. Now it growls though, and growls again. Are you kidding me? Come on. Oh, Lorelei with the cheese here. We do manage to knock that one out, but we're back to Jinx with only 1 Body Slam. Still, we have badge boosts and special, so our special attacks should do more. She gets a crit right there though. She goes Thrash. We're going to need a couple more hits to knock this one out. And the problem is we just don't have enough PP to get through the fight yet again because of that Slowbro using Growl. This time Slowbro wakes up, but we put it back to sleep and finish our badge boosts. We put it back to sleep again as it wakes up, and again as it wakes up. We're hitting like so many things here, and now we see Body Slam does decent damage. It would be a 4-hit KO. She's Super Potions, but we take that one down. We're 2 Jinx. We're Body Slams 2-hit KOing. Now we don't level up before Lapras. It Body Slams me as I'm missing the Sings. I finally get it to sleep. We have 5 Body Slams and 6 Psychics remaining. Body Slam does about a quarter here. We're just hoping that we get her in the healing loop. She goes for Blizzard, but that allows me to finally get the victory and get to level 42. With the rare candies drop there, she's certainly possible. She's not impossible to beat. And yes, you could argue for going for a different moveset there. The reason why I stick with Body Slam though is because honestly, I don't think with our stat spread we were going to do that much more with Thunderbolt or something there, but also because I want to keep my moveset kind of intact right now and keep all those options for later on when we get to Lance. I want to be able to learn Thunderbolt there and have that as a move. Here against Bruno and against Agatha, I want to have Psychic. I think that's the only good move for these next 2 fights. So that's why I'm sticking with what I got. Let's see if we get through Bruno on the first attempt at least. So Bruno attempt number 1 right here, and I didn't heal coming in. Oh no. Still, I think we can just go Psychic on the first Pokemon. It's going to be a 2-hitter, but we do take it down. The Hitmonchan is not a 1-hitter though, so we're going to have to reset here just to heal coming into this fight. Let's throw on the Elixir, and now this should be a significantly easier fight. Let's just find out. So in this case, when we actually have proper PP, our strategy is simple. We're going to put the first Onix to sleep. I'm going to set up a couple of badge boosts here. We don't quite one-shot, but Body Slam will finish that one off. We can now Body Slam against the Hitmonchan, getting the 3-hitter. Hitmonlee comes out. He X defends, which is great strategy, obviously. We did level up there, so we would have lost any badge boosts, but we still managed to get through. We can put the second Onix to sleep. I'm going to set up the rest of my defense curls here on the basis that the Machamp is coming out. We're going to level up before Machamp, but I just don't want to get knocked out by a submission. Here, when we get to Machamp, we can go Psychic doing half. It goes Leer and we win. So yeah, Bruno, when you come in with PP, is perfectly fine. Now it's on to Agatha. Remember, this is Gen 1, so she can in fact hit us with moves like Nightshade here. So we're going to have to put her to sleep and hope that we can manage the victory. This is a spot where replacing the Body Slam could make sense, but I mean, we've got Psychic for all of the ghosts and Body Slam for everything non-ghost, so I think we can probably get this to work. Let's just see. So Agatha attempt number 1. Of course, we're going Sing on the first Gengar as it hits Nightshade. We miss. It goes for the Hypnosis, and then it's just wrecking me here as I never got to land a hit. Let's try this one again. Next attempt, she again goes Nightshade. Now she goes Confuse Ray, puts me to sleep. Nightshades, Dream Eaters, and we lose. This is all going to come down to when we actually land a Sing though. When we get the Sing, I think we're going to be good to go. So here we finally Sing on the Gengar. I'm going to take this opportunity to set up a couple of defense curls. We're able to put the Golbat to sleep. I'm going to set up one more defense curl so I at least outspeed this Pokemon. We go Body Slam. She swaps back to the Gengar and now back to the Golbat where we can just Body Slam again. It takes 3 hits, but we do take that one down. Now she Nightshades with Gengar, but she gets put to sleep. We still have our badge boosts from the 3 defense curls that we set up, and it's a 3-hitter with Psychic there. We level up on the Haunter. I'm going to put this one to sleep and now set up my 3 defense curls that are remaining for badge boosts. Here we are faster than the Haunter. We're both missing sleep moves. She swaps to the Arbok. Let's just put this one to sleep and we're going to Body Slam this Pokemon down. It takes 2 hits, but that one does go down eventually. Psychic is going to be a 2-hitter here on the Haunter. It hit Hypnosis, but we immediately woke up. We made it to the final Gengar. It Nightshades. We put it to sleep with Sing. Now we go for Psychic. We get a special drop turn 1, and it's going to take 1 more hit. We do manage to beat Agatha. Once we finally actually get that first Gengar to sleep, that really wasn't that bad. We got through just fine. It's just a little random there, but not terrible to get through that. Now here's where I'm going to replace Psychic with Blizzard, so that I have this move to use against all of the dragons on Lance's team and the Aerodactyl. And I realized just a minute ago that I never got TM24 from Surgy Boy. My bag was full apparently at the time, so I have Thunder, but I don't have Thunderbolt, and I can't backtrack to get Thunderbolt. So I think the only play here is to go in as I am with Body Slam and Blizzard. Just try to Body Slam down the first Gyarados. If we get it to sleep, we should be able to set up badge boosts outspeed and then just be able to go from there. We're slightly slower than the Dragonairs right now though, so we're gonna have to keep some of our badge boosts for after the Gyarados so that we can outspeed against the Dragonairs and have a chance. Let's see how this goes. So here against Lance, he goes Dragon Rage. I'm just going to put the Gyarados to sleep and now set up a couple times so that I outspeed the Gyarados. Now we'll go Body Slam. It looks like a 3-hitter, but we're going to get through that one just fine as the first Dragonair comes out. We hit Sing because we did not level up here. So I'm just going to stick with the strategy of trying to KO. Body Slam plus a Blizzard gets the job done. We get to level 47 on the second Dragonair. It sets up Agility and then goes Hyper Beam, but fortunately we set up some defense curls before that. We didn't take too much damage. Now we can set up a bunch of defense curls again here to get badge boosts, though. We shouldn't level up on this Dragonair. We'll see if we level up before the Dragonite, but here Blizzard gets the one-hitter. We've made it to Aerodactyl. We miss Blizzard. Now we hit. It's not a one-hitter. He Hyper Potions. I'm going Body Slam the rest of the way because I want to save PP for the final Dragonite. We do manage to paralyze Aerodactyl after it crit me and got me to low health, so I am getting through that Pokemon, but we level up right here on the Dragonite. He goes Hyper Beam and we lose. Let's try this again. We get a Leer this time from the first Gyarados, and that actually helps me to outspeed because I can just set up one defense curl to get back to net 0 defense. And that's actually enough to take that one down. I'm going to Body Slam here on the Dragonair. It's just a 2-hit KO. We level up again right here on this second Dragonair. It goes Hyper Beam, but we get it to sleep. And now we have more badge boosts available to us because of the fact that we got leered by the first Gyarados. Here we are getting on fairly low health, but we'll put the Dragonair back to sleep and finish our setup here, where we now have 182 speed. We hit Blizzard in one shot there against Aerodactyl. Now Blizzard one-shots because we have more badge boosts. We're back to the Dragonite. It hits Hyper Beam. We survive. We hit the Blizzard. We get the freeze, and that is game over for Lancey Boy. He can do nothing from here. We'll just Body Slam him down, and just like that, we managed to beat Lance in just a couple of attempts there. It really wasn't too bad, and we have made it to the champion. We're only at level 48 because of the early rare candies in this one, though. We have 2 rare candies to get us to level 50, but that's all we've got. I'm going to keep the Blizzard on my moveset for the Venusaur at the end of this one. I'm going to keep Body Slam on my moveset for everything else, basically. Blizzard is for the Venusaur and for the Rhydon, and everything else I'm hoping I can just Body Slam down with badge boosts. Let's see if this works or not. So champion attempt number 1 right here. We're going Sing on the Pidgeot. It goes Sky Attack, dealing massive damage. That's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to get it asleep so I could set up some defense curls here. I'm going all in on defense curl at the start of this one because I honestly don't know the ranges, but I want to outspeed against that Alakazam if I can. We're just going to Body Slam that Pokemon down. Alakazam can get Body Slammed as well. Rhydon will go Blizzard. That gets the one-hitter. We level up right here to level 51 as Gyarados comes out. It's faster, it hits Hyper Beam, but that doesn't do much damage. We'll just Body Slam here, hoping to get the KO. We paralyze it when it wakes up. Another Hyper Beam, but we take it down. Arcanine's out next. It goes Roar. We paralyze it. We're just continuing the Body Slam. His takedown doesn't do that much. We get the victory there. We're on the Venusaur. Let's see what Blizzard does. Is it Mega Drains there? And it Mega Drains again. We can see Blizzard is a 3-hitter on that Pokemon, so not great. Let's see if we can get the luck this next attempt. Now, I think the big issue on that first attempt was the fact that we lost half of our HP to the first Pidgeot. So I'm going to reset again there when we get the Sky Attack and we can't hit Sing, because I think we just have to get this Pokemon to sleep. Here, I'm also going to go a little less hard on the defense curl setup. I'm just going to go for 3 right here, and then once again go for the Body Slams to knock that one out. Against Alakazam, Psybeam's not a big deal. We can knock it out in a couple hits. Rhydon will go back to Blizzard. We missed the first one, but we hit the second one. Back to Gyarados now. It Dragon Rages. We put it to sleep. Because we got Leer from Rhydon, we can actually set up 4 defense curls here for badge boosts. We're just trying to keep this Gyarados asleep. It's hitting all the moves, and we simply lose when we can't get the sleep to connect. A couple attempts later, we're back to Gyarados. It goes Hyper Beam this time. We'll finish our setup here. Only 3 badge boosts this time, but we can go body slam from here. It looks like a 3-hitter. We do manage to take that one down. Back to Arcanine, it goes roar. We paralyze it. It's fully paralyzed. We're back to the Venusaur where we do level up, and it goes Razor Leaf to destroy me. It could have gone for growth, Solar Beam, Mega Drain. I think we would have survived. Only Razor Leaf destroys me there, but you can see why that Pokemon is actually really tough for this one in this challenge. Really, Charizard with Slash or the Razor Leaf from the Venusaur are the toughest moves, I think. We're just gonna have to see if we can get this to go. Back to Venusaur again. This time it goes growth. I'm able to set up one badge boost here. Let's see what Body Slam does. It looks like a 3-hitter, so I'm just doing that after it uses growth, and we do manage the victory. It took a few attempts there on the champion. Ultimately, we ended with a score of exactly 85. An hour, 23 minutes, 21 seconds to get that one done with 90 resets and 6 TMs learned. In my scoring system, a single broken TM is equivalent to 100 resets. So if you're asking, why didn't you throw on Substitute? Why didn't you throw on Mimic? Why didn't you throw on Rest? All of those moves would have lowered this Pokemon's score more than the 90 resets that I took. And that's with me being blind here, not knowing what any of the ranges are, just kind of guessing and testing things out. If we come back and optimize this one, I guarantee to you that we can raise its score quite a bit, because I would already know, okay, I'm going to have to drop some rare candies when I get to Koga and Erica. That's just going to be the way it works. We're too slow to get that to really work out. Same for some of the TM management, right? I went for Ice Beam early in the game and then ended up never using that one. So we could easily add a point back there. I'll bet we could get this one to be 90 plus with optimizations pretty easily. But for a first run, I think every decision I made at least made sense at the time that I was making it based on what I knew and trying to test things out. And in the end, we do beat the champion. It's not the prettiest thing, but some of that was just bad luck in certain spots, getting critical hits. Lorelei's really random in that you're hoping that she doesn't use Growl against you or get attack drops with something like Aurora Beam. Once you outspeed there though, you can get that to go. Once again, the rare candies made that one a lot better once we finally got there. It turns out that at a fairly low level, you can still get through with a Wigglytuff in the end. So let's add this one to our tier list and just see our results so far. Wigglytuff slots in 2 spots behind the Clefable. It had to go earlier rare candies, but the scores are pretty similar, 87.3 versus 85. Again, I think that we could easily close that gap with optimizations. I think both of these Pokemon are easily 90 plus scores with some optimizing, but that's why I've actually got the A tier down a little bit lower than I initially had intended. I intended to have the A tier cut off at 90, but I added in a little bit of leeway down to 88. Just because of the fact that I am kind of testing things out in real time. For now, this Pokemon is a B tier Pokemon, but it's slots in ahead of Jinx, ahead of Venusaur, ahead of Sandslash that overperformed previously, ahead of Butterfree that's faster and has the sleep strats, ahead of both of the Nidos. Currently, I would have this Pokemon set as my number 8 Pokemon of all the ones that we've done so far. So really, at the end of the day, not a bad showing from Wigglytuff. And like I said, all of these, except for a couple that I've noted before, are first runs. Only Mewtwo and Butterfree, I believe, are the ones that I've done a second time. And technically, we did part of the Raichu run before I realized that the footage was messed up and had to do that one again. So technically, those 3 Pokemon are actually kind of overperforming because they had extra information. Everything else here is a first attempt, just testing things as I go. So take that for what you will. What I'm really surprised by though is that even though we were a fast level up Pokemon, we end up with a lower level than a lot of other challengers in this series so far. Lower levels than things like the Venusaur and the Charizard, of course. At the same level as things like Nidoqueen. Really not looking great at the end of the day, but hey, we'll take it. That is another Pokemon done on Ultra Minimum Battles. But with that done, the rival's gonna say, why did I lose? And it turns out that he just needed to use the badge boost glitch a little bit more and maybe some sleep strats that would have helped him. But at the end of the day, we got our Wigglytuff through, even though we didn't always use the optimal strategies. Like I said, I didn't have Thunderbolt at the end. Turns out you don't need it. Body Slam is perfectly fine there. Blizzard, pretty much covers everything else once you get to Lance. And you really want Psychic for Bruno and Agatha. That helps massively there. I cannot overstate how important Psychic is when you get to the end there. Really, really important against Bruno and Agatha. Like Bruno, yeah, you could probably find a way through Bruno with just about anything, but Agatha, now that's a challenge right there. You know what I'm saying? And if you do not have your only super effective move on your moveset against her, that is going to be a rough out no matter what you do, especially when you're under leveled. So I think once we slam on the Psychic, we just have to run it the rest of the game. You could argue for forgetting Body Slam, but in a lot of cases, it was a good, strong, useful move. We might have gotten better ranges at some points with Hyper Beam. I'm honestly not sure, but at the end of the day, it was enough to get the job done. Most of the fights didn't really feel that bad. The only ones where we took like tons and tons of resets were Lorelei, and then earlier on when we were up against Erica and Koga. Once we got through those walls though, we were basically good to go for the rest of the run, so I'm ultimately pretty happy with this first attempt here. We'll just see how we do as we move on. But with that, I want to give a massive thank you to all of the channel members, everybody who supports the channel. I hope you're enjoying this series. We're going to have a couple Mimi ones coming in as well, because we've got to check in on some things like that Psychic or Ghost type Ninetales to give it a little redemption. We might need to make a Pidgeot that is more of a Giga Chad too, you know, like a hyper mega Giga Chad Pidgeot. That could be fun. And I really want to do Godcarp on this setting just to see if Godcarp can manage to get it done, because I think it would be hilarious to stunt on all of the gym leaders with a Magikarp, and it will have way more base speed than this Wigglytuff did, so I think it's going to do a lot better. But we'll just have to see. Maybe it turns out that Godcarp meets his match when he actually comes in against just the gym leaders and Elite Four members. Still, we'll just have to see. For now, let me just give a massive thank you again to everybody who watches to the end. Appreciate ya. And if you want something else to watch, there's a whole playlist of these, or you can jump over to GSC Pokemon Challenges or RSE Pokemon Challenges, where they got videos coming out. We're kind of like taking turns on days to post videos, so you know, there's daily content effectively nowadays. So you know, go watch something else. Anyway, appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Later.